Hello everyone. Okay, good morning. Well, it's the morning to me, 9 o'clock here in LA. I am very glad to see you again. Well, I don't see you, but I'm talking to you. Second week, relationships. Okay, it's not just relationships. I mean, we're going to touch upon everything, because what is relationship? Relating to other people, relating to yourself, relating to nature, to animals, to friends, to family, to your kids, your partners. It goes on and on, at work. So really, once we start talking about relationships, it's almost like opening up all the fields in our lives. So in fact, we're going to be talking about passion, how passionate we are about life, how passionate about our workspace, how do we love our work. Then relating to money, how do we correspond to that? It's very important, because money is a big part of our lives, and that's how everything goes in this planet Earth, living this materialistic world. That's very much connected to this area which we're going to be working this week, which is second chakra, which everything flows, is the reproductive organs. This is where life comes from. This is really creating lots of questioning this whole week on relationships. We're going to be really opening up lots of Pandora boxes and lots of things that's sitting in your head and not being able to get answers from. So we're going to be looking all of that. Quite a large subject, but let's start first of all with we're going to start every session like that. I really like it. 5 long deep breaths. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And then we're going to do, I'm going to use my little shruti. So we're going to do a little bit of mantra, which today, for this week, we're going to be doing VAM, V-A-M. You know, I think this lighting is too strong. Should I just hold on one second? I think maybe it is... Okay, turn it down, otherwise my face is so white. I think that's more worldly. Okay. I don't have Craig today to help me, so you see, you're gonna put up with me doing everything myself. Okay, so let's all center ourselves. Inhale through the nose, exhale powerfully through the mouth. I'm going to be saying this again and again and again, because that's how it is. We always remember things when we hear it many times. Powerful exhale means connecting to the parasympathetic nervous system, which makes us calm down. And this is what yoga brings to us. More stimulation of this system, so that we can learn how to receive, how to be open, how to be chill out, how to be relaxed, how to really be there and present. So that exhale will help you a lot. Pay attention that every exhale we take, it's longer and longer and longer. So we start. Inhale. already feels better. I just had a thought. Let me check that the volume, hold on 1 second, is on. Yeah, perfect. Just had a feeling maybe you guys can't hear me well. Okay, that's better. Shruti goes on. Somebody was asking me about this Shruti. So what's the business with this? It's a little electrical box, and it creates that sound of like the drone and like a real Indian sound, but it's been so useful. I take it with me and we do sessions, and when I have to record and travel with it, because it just, instead of having the real instrument, somebody who can play, well, I can't, so you have to always find somebody else. But now this box has been my savior. So let's go for VAM, V-A-M. As we talked about it before, mantra is this, stimulates this, directs and redirects the energy, and it's Sanskrit sacred words. We keep repeating. This is for the second chakra to open up. So we did the breathing. We're going to be opening a little bit more with the mantra, and then going to be much more ready to listen to this lecture. Okay, there we go. I'm going to do a lower voice. So you can choose. You can do third, fifth. There we go. Now we're going to go higher. That's better. All right. Alright, there we go. That suits me better. There we go. last time. Inhale and exhale. This feels so much better. We should all start our days like this. So in fact, that's my recommendation, how to use the mantra, which I'm giving you this for this week, is to really just go for it every morning. As soon as you wake up, you can just follow this recording, or that's why we do it in the beginning, so you can do the breathing and the recording of this mantra, and so just follow it. We did a good 4 or 5 minutes, so that's enough to just clear your day and start fresh, and then whatever happens, you won't be too surprised. You can handle it. All right, so I have all my books and everything prepared for you guys. So many interesting stories to tell. First of all, relation, as I said. Let's see, how do we relate? The most important thing, how do you relate to yourself? So there are 4 parts to us, is physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So all these parts have to work together. Very often what happens, we give right for the mind, the mental self, to be the boss, and that's how we govern our lives. So very often we are just in the head, you know, we think, we overthink, we overanalyze, and it's really allowing that way for the ego to lead your life, not what your spirit and what your longing is, what your passion is about life and the purpose. So how do we convince the mind to give a second, to take a second seat and give the lead to spiritual self? Very interesting, right? We have to consciously wanting this. We should be all together, like ask your physical self. So really just visualize yourself, close your eyes and ask each part of you, the physical self, how am I doing? How is it happening? Ask the spirit to help you if you need to do something with your physical self. Maybe there is some pain somewhere coming. Ask the spirit to tell you where this pain is coming from. It's really useful. But again, you have to believe in it, that you have to try it and see if it works for you. Basically, I can tell you here forever that it works, but if you don't try it and you don't believe it yourself, it's not going to work. So it's really up to you. You need to come to that conclusion yourself. Then check in with your mental state. Okay, how is the mind? The mind is still bossy and is still kind of pushing away. I'm the boss and I can tell you how it is because I believe in this material world and none of this spirit is happening, right? Ego, 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 push, push, push. Go in life with your ego rather than your spiritual self. So let's ask the mind and the spirit to come together, and the mind is needs to be a little convinced. How do we convince it? With mantra, with breathing, with all these exercises I'm going to give you this week. All of that will convince the mind to, okay, I can relax now. I don't have to do everything myself, and it's good for the mind to take a holiday. Try with a few days. That's what I do. Okay, I give you a holiday for a few days. Just chill. Go to Mexico, go to the sunshine, just don't bother me too much, take a second seat, you know, you don't have to control everything, let's allow the spirit to guide us. We are going to be fine without you, don't worry. So you kind of talk to the mind, you know, this is not crazy, but you kind of have to put together all these pieces, and you have to find a way that you can actually feel yourself, because this whole week is about feeling. How do I feel? That's what you're going to be your question. For this whole week, I'd like you to really ask yourself, how do I feel about this? How do I feel about that? You have a situation at work. How do I feel about it? Situation with your kids. How do I feel about it? Something that you really want to react or to be angry. First of all, ask, why am I feeling this? How do I feel? Why am I feeling? And try to come to the bottom. of it and the cause of it. So then ask your spirit to help you, and ask your spirit, you know, what shall I be looking at? This mental, maybe my head is going too much, maybe the emotionals, when I'm feeling something, why am I feeling? Ask your spirit. Really, you will get answers. More you stimulate that questioning and more that talking kind of to yourself and to your spirit, more that kind of like training muscle will be trained, and you will give much more information. So you really have to ask. It doesn't just happen with you thinking it. You have to really ask what's going on. You ask the spirit. So once you do the usually that's what I do. I check with my physical, I check with my mental, I check with my emotional, and ask the spirit to lead me. And very often you either sit in meditation after the mantra, maybe you see, so you do the breathing, you do the mantra, and then sit just for a second, ask your question to the spirit. So you will get some answers or not. Leave it, don't get attached to it, and maybe during the day, maybe the next day, something will happen and you're like, oh my God, that's my answer. Or you will see a sign somewhere, be aware of the synchronicity, or people you meet, or somebody will say something. Everything is indication. You have to be constantly aware and open to see the signs around you, to relate to the nature, to the science, to the synchronicity, to the everything that happens around you. Everything is connected, so you can't just pay attention to one thing and not the other. I mean, and even when we talk about all these weeks and all these chakras, everything is connected. You see, together already I've had some questions last week on how to do work on the throat, and that's already week 5, but it's all connected, right? So in the first week, immediately we connect the first chakra with the other chakras. It is all connected. So, as I said, the spiritual self of you, it's neutral. It's not judging. And that's why you can always get the best benefit of asking the spirit. Because the ego could be judgmental because it always looks after itself, right? What's the best not to hurt the ego? Okay, so, you know, it's very... in this, in Piscean age, Yogi Bhajan was talking about it, that how important it is to take the attributes and the benefits that we learn from the Piscean age into Aquarian age. And the Piscean age was all about opening the heart. So, but the Aquarian age is all about the mind. So they said the most difficult time now for the mental state of ours is now in the Aquarian age, because of so much technology, because of so much social media and everything. We are constantly on computers, so that loads more and more and more information, constant information and constant thinking. It requires thinking, lots of thoughts going through our head. So if we don't learn how to connect that with the heart and ask, what do I feel? What do I feel? How I'm connecting my heart with the head? Am I making right decision? You have to ask the heart. It's not just the head thinking. Ask the spirit how to help you with decisions. So that's what Yogi Bhajan thought was saying by, you know, take the opening of the heart, the attributes of the Piscean age, and then bring it into the Aquarian age. Then you have the heart and the mind, and then you have a success. Because technology is great, and that's where we're going, and we are not saying no to it, but how you use it. Because if you have too much thinking going on, and you're not able to express the thinking, you're not able to clear it, and to get rid of the thoughts, then you end up with mental illness. There's a lot of mental illness that's going on at the moment. They said the percentage is like since 10 years and now like tripled. So that is why, because we stop relating to other people, we relate just to computers and our phones. I see the young generation, it really worries me. They constantly text and do the social media, and it's all about social media. Snapchat and this and that, and they find that everything that happens through social media, and they don't call each other anymore. Nobody meets and speaks to each other. It's all of that, social media. So it's really worrying, because we need to really train and tell our kids and go out there, meet people, talk on the phone rather than just sending messages. So now we're going to be really working on stimulating the spine, creating space and emptiness, because the spine needs to be, I call it yummy and juicy. If it's rigid and stuck and there is no flow going on, then how can you be flowing? How can this chakra be open? How can you be relating to people? You know, walking like this, also you will see the shoulders and everybody's walking like with stiff spine. That has to be immediately looked at, because this is life. For us, the spine represents life. And if you're rigid, then you're not flowing in life. You're not really living life 100% fully. You're just living, you know, maybe just 5%. It's just like the Kundalini cannot be spread about and shoot out from your base into the crown. And if that's not happening, then you're not living fully. Actually, very beautiful. Yesterday we went to a memoriam with a dear friend, and it was so beautiful. Everybody was there, and so many friends. He was one of those big producers, and lots of friends. He made so many people famous, so he was like the guy, but completely relating, constantly joking, constantly with people, and all these people were there loving the fact and gave him such a nice stories, and it's all about that passionate and how you relate. So obviously having that spine working was, I'm sure that was the case. So, and it was very interesting what they proposed the questions like, what would he say? It's rather, I was going back to the living fully or not living fully. Rather, he said, I'd rather live 60 years old and full on with no regulation and rules following, and just be myself and live to the fully with passion, or rather that than 100 years without passion and following rules and being just, you know, not relating and not living fully. So ask yourself, actually, I would propose that question to everybody. We should all ask ourselves. So you rather, and it doesn't mean that you only cutting the age, but if you make a decision to really live fully and exciting and inspirational life and relating to many people, to me, I think why we come to this planet and living this life here, right now, is to learn how to relate to yourself, to make that union, that connection, and to relating to other people, to everything and everywhere. So I'm going to read you a little poem that they read by Ellen Court, and it was kind of like relating to him and who he was, and it goes like this. I think it's very interesting I think I'm going to post it as well. So it says, begin. Keep on beginning, nibble on everything, take a hike, teach yourself to whistle, lie. The older you get, the more they'll want your stories. Make them up, talk to stones, shout out electric fences, swim with a sea turtle into the moon. Learn how to die, eat moonshine pie, drink wild geranium tea, run naked in the rain. Everything that happens will happen, and none of us will be safe from it. Pull up anchors, sit close to the god of night, lie still in a stream and breathe water, climb to the top of the highest tree until you come to the branch where the blue heron sleeps. Eat poems for breakfast, wear them on your forehead, lick the mountain's bare shoulder, measure the color of days around your mother's death, put your hands over your face and listen to what they tell you. Interesting. So that was his way of living. So then we're gonna be, as I said, creating that freedom and flexibility in the spine, which creates flexibility and freedom in the relationships. There was a friend of mine, she was saying, oh, what shall I do, what shall I do? Come on, you're the expert, tell me. I have a lower back pain and it's been going on, and suddenly it happened. And so I said, how is your relationship? She said, what does that have to do with my relationship? It's my back I'm asking. I said, I know, but that's what is related. It is very related, how your lower back, and that's the same area that we are talking about, the second chakra, that relates very much to emotional state that you are at in your relationship. So she said, well, now that you're asking, actually, yes, she started thinking, well, there are some problems, there is some stagnation. And so I said, you see, and once we start talking about it, once you start releasing all this information, she's facing it, because that's one of the things how you deal with everything. I think you face it. First of all, you have to acknowledge it. You see, she wasn't aware that that's what it was, how it was linked. So she was like, what does this have to do? But then when we start talking about it, she released the whole idea about it. She talked about it. So obviously she needed to talk about it. And then she felt lighter. And then she said, okay, I'll try also some exercises I gave her, especially with the hamstrings, because the hamstrings get very tight. And that's when it causes the lower back pain. So anyway, she started, and the next day she called me. She said, oh my God, this was a miracle. I think the exercise helped. I said, I don't think so much the exercise. Yes, together they help, but it's because we talked about it. She said, wow, I never realized how everything is connected. So we're going to pay attention to that. And if you have any situation like that, always go and find out what is the real cause. Because the body, when it has pain, only just tells us what's going on emotionally. So we have to listen to the physical self, those 4 parts. I'm going to talk on and on again. Then opening to receive. Now, how do we receive? Are we asking, like when we do our prayers and we expect them to manifest, but are we open to actually receive that manifestation? So that's the question here. Because we can be talking and asking and praying, and that's why we made strong our belief system in our word, the power of the word we spoke last time. So when we bring it into the relationship, now we have to see, okay, so I have to be opening. So that's what we are doing this week, opening the spine, opening the space, emptying everything there in that area, the second chakra, so that we can receive this prayer and anything we want. We have to be open to receive. I'm going to relate again to 365 Science of Mind, a lovely book that I always read every day. 365 meaning each day there is a little message. So on receiving, how can we receive that which the mind refuses to entertain? Should we not then consciously develop the ability to receive more? We make life little and mean, and limit our own possibilities when we refuse to accept the whole gift of God. We should open our consciousness to a receptivity of the divine. There will never be any point of saturation, because God is infinite. We cannot contract the infinite, but we can expand the finite. Today, I ask and know that I shall receive. So this is your affirmation. Today, I seek and know that I shall find. Today, I knock and know that it shall be opened unto me. But what is it that I ask for? What is it that I really seek? Is it to discover God in everything, to see the divine manifest in everyone, to come into close and conscious communion with life? Today, then, I receive the gift of God in its fullness, unstained, complete. In His fullness and complete. Okay, so that's what we are asking. Whatever it's that you're asking for, be open to receive and let the divine manifest. You know, there is another lovely saying that Yogi Bhajan used to say, if you don't see God in everyone, you don't see God at all. So if you don't see God in all, you don't see God at all. That's it. If you don't see God in all, you don't see God at all. So there you go. That's your answer. We have to really always try to see everybody we relate to, it's part of you. It's your mirror. And everything that you hate in somebody, and everything that you judge in others, everything that you blame, it's that whole rule, the fingers, right? One finger against that person, but 3 are going against you. So when you point the finger, that's what it is. I learned this very long time ago, and it's just made so much sense. That's what we are doing. So every time you judge somebody, you're judging even triple times yourself. So always think about it. Be aware that every person in front of you and everything, all the challenges that are happening at work with your boss and whatever it's happening, you know that that's part of you. Which part of you is resisting that, and which part of you has that and was judging that. So you always have to relate to yourself first and ask yourself. Observing your feelings. So observing the feelings, as I was just saying, keep asking yourself, what do I feel rather than what do I think? Because so often, I mean, notice how people talk and how you talk. It's just being aware. That's what it means being present. When you're aware of everything you say or everything you do and people around you, how that relates and how you're in that situation. So very often people say, oh, what do you think? What do you think? They always ask you what you think. And very rarely people say, what do you feel? What do you feel? We need to change our vocabulary. So we're going to be working on that, creating more energy and creativity, especially in this area. I mean, as I said, this is the area where we give birth to life, to kids, right? Our children. It's a very creative water element, flowing, how you flow in life, how you flow with passion, as I was talking about, how you flow with money. It's also from this area. On a physical level, we will create heat in the adrenals, circulating the blood, which will stimulate the spleen, pancreas, and bladder. This will be great for PMS and menopause, clearing urinary infections, and for men, stimulating the prostate. So I talked about adrenals in one of my Mondays with Maya, I think, about how connected the adrenals are to menopause. It's really, I was trying to research and put my finger on like why some people are not having hot flashes and are not having anything with the menopause. They're just going through it like so easy, everything is fine, don't even notice they have it. And some women are completely struggling and they have all the list of symptoms that are happening, they would have it. So then I started researching and asking people. So then I realized that those women who were not a high-strung people, like achievers who always had to go, do, they've been more relaxed, which means the adrenals were working properly. So if your adrenals have not been ever properly working and they've been always exhausting and always adrenaline working, stimulating the adrenals too much, then when it comes to menopause, when you really need the adrenals to work for you, to create all the progesterone, estrogen, everything that we're missing, then they said kaput. We don't have anything to give anymore. We've been working, and now when you need it, there is no reserve. That's what happens, and that's why these people have lots of symptoms and the others don't. So I made a little video and said, for the younger generations, for people who before menopause, like early 40s, I know I wasn't the one to listen to it when I was 40. It's like, oh, I'm not going to listen about menopause. That's so far away. Who wants to know about that? Yeah, but if you know this information, I wish somebody gave me this information. If you knew this information when you're 40 and you start looking after yourself and looking after your adrenals and take, do the yoga, the breathing, and then do some supplements. The Chinese herbs are fantastic, acupuncture. So then you strengthen your adrenals, and then when you come to menopause, you're not going to even notice. So that's something to really, actually, you're investing in the future. When I made my first DVD ever, Detox and Distress, I was so blessed that I was guided rightly because that seems to be still the bestseller, and it's really beneficial for still everybody wants that DVD because, again, it's working on adrenals, strengthening your adrenals, and therefore you feel so much better and so much more awakened and aware. So there are beautiful little exercises there, and that DVD you can do anytime, anywhere. It's really beneficial. Okay, so and you notice also this week, so just be aware on notice yourself, notice your spine and how flexible you are, notice how other people are flexible, and maybe you will see that, oh, all these people with everything flows in their life, everything is, they're so chill and everything flows, probably is because their spine is loose and their second chakra is flowing. So just notice all these things and how you're relating to your own spine and flexibility. So lifestyle choices, the action we will take today, this week, is creating peace in your relationships. So clearing any doubts and resentments with loved ones. I hear again and again and again, so many people still struggle with their parents, with their kids, whatever unfinished business they have with their partners. So really the best thing is to make that call, write that letter, make peace, finish with that resentment, forgive, make that relate to that person. You have to really visualize that person, forgive in your meditation, call, because there is no way you can be living fully in your life and flowing in your life if you have such a huge resentment of not being able to talk to your sister, to your brother, to your mother for like years. And I hear this a lot. Whatever the situation was, I understand there's severe situations and there are all sorts of, you know, abuse and all that. Try your best. Try your best. Making peace, it's definitely on your side. For the future, invest in your future again. So that will be my recommendation. And it's important to let go of any unclear misunderstandings, because it's not always about, you know, you're right and the others are wrong. So blaming others, judging others, which actually, as I said, is judging ultimately yourself. But it's a very interesting kind of story that I've said it a few times, I think, on Instagram, and it says it all. It just, there is a situation, there is a Congress, it's like a big gathering going, and people are discussing lots of things, and the Mary stands up and she says, she starts stomping her feet and being angry and disagreeing with what the talk was about, and Peter stands up, Mary, please remember rule number 6. And she goes, oh my God, yes, I'm so sorry. And she sits down immediately, quiet. So everybody's looking what's going on. Anyway, the discussions carry on and everybody's fired up, and then Mark stands up and he said, oh, he starts stomping his feet just like Mary, being disagreeing and being angry for his rights. And Peter goes, Mark, you have forgotten rule number 6. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he sits down. So then people go, wait a minute, what is this rule number 6? Why everybody is so quiet immediately as you mention it? He said rule number 6 is don't take everything so goddamn personally, because that's what it is. We all take things personally. And so they said, what are the other rules? They said, there are no other rules. It's just that one. Because if you sort this one out, there won't be any war. We're all fighting about being right. And of course, you have that saying, you want to be right or happy. So that explains you everything. Stop trying to be too right. That's the ego. You see, that's the mind. That's the thinking. So let's pay attention to that. I mean, I even put a sign, as you see, let go, let God. Yogi Bhajan's words, which he was saying, let the Creator who created you look after you. So don't think that, let go. You're looked after. You have to believe and trust in that higher power that created us, and that you are looked after. So leave it to the creation. Leave it to the Creator to look after you. Trust. So I remember when I was talking about judgment and stuff, when I was a little girl in Macedonia, and I really liked playing piano. I didn't even know that I want to. I mean, this was like maybe 5, 6 years, and every time my parents take me to some dinners and all the family gets together, Whatever the house, almost every house in Skopje in Macedonia actually have pianos, which is strange. I mean, it's very musical nation. So if there is a piano in the house, I don't play with any kids. I was just on the piano pretending like I'm playing. God knows I'm banging on the piano, but I'm pretending. And I'm sitting there for like an hour and people go, what is she doing? She's weird. She's not gonna, and the parents were actually really judging me, saying, why you don't go and play with the kids? And I was like, oh no, I'd rather stay here. So I could feel the judgment. I could feel then me resenting that and judging those people, saying, oh, I want to leave Macedonia, and I left in anger because being in socialism and communism and everything that they suppressed, Eastern European countries, they really suppress you and really want to make you same as everyone. They kill all the possibility of any creativity because they don't want you to stand up. They want to be the same as everybody else. So that was difficult for me growing up as a musician, I want to express myself, and I couldn't do that. So I left in anger. But then back in London, I'm thinking, oh, I can't let this ruin my life because I'm not going to be sitting here and constantly being in resentment and hating it. So I made peace with it. I did mantras, I visualized, and then I visited Macedonia actually last summer, and it was interesting. It was really interesting to see all the people there and everything I've left. And of course, now I see it through different eyes. And it was great to make peace. So that was how I made peace. And if that's what it is that you have as well, and if you need to go in another country and visit maybe your family and whatever it is, I think it's useful to do that. I saw huge benefit by me going back to Macedonia and facing everybody and everything. So make that call, write the letter. Okay, so then the nutrition. So for this, we want to eat lots of rich in omega-3s supplements and nuts and fish and wild-caught salmon and ocean trout. And there's a lot of, there's almost like a list you can see. I always travel with it to see which fish it actually has the most omega-3 and also which fish has a lot of mercury. So it's maybe I can post that to you guys because it's really important, this card. Every time I'm buying fish, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, is this the good fish or too much mercury? Then you don't want to take. So usually the bigger fish has more mercury than the smaller ones. So, and if it's more in the bottom of the sea. But I will post that. I will make a note to post that card. Okay. I hope you, by the way, I hope you all receive the mantra, Satanama, and it's useful for you. So what has omega-3? We know all the nuts, almonds, walnuts, pistachios, Brazil nuts, especially Brazil nuts, they have a lot of magnesium inside. So what I do, I make my own Brazil nut milk. So I know there is no chemicals, I know nobody has touched it, there is no when you buy, you know, stuff in the shop. So it's very easy. You put at least a handful of Brazil nuts or any nuts, almonds, pistachios. No, actually not pistachios. I haven't made it with pistachio. It was almond. I made it with Brazil nuts, with walnuts. So you soak in the water over the night so they become softer and they get rid of all the, like with the walnuts have a lot of fungus, so that all clear. And then you just put it in a blender and just with some water, and you blend it. You blend it for 5 to 10 minutes, so it's really good. And then afterwards there is a nut bag, like a special see-through bag, like a net. And so you put it there and you squeeze it, and then just, so you take all the fiber and the bigger parts of the nuts out, and then you have the milk. So delicious. I put it in my coffee. I have one coffee in the day, in the morning, and it's so much nicer when you know, drink it like this, and a bulletproof coffee, and you put some butter. You know, I used to put this butter for a long time ago, before Bulletproof came. I don't know where, I think I saw it, somebody, it was a long time ago I've learned it. Maybe it was even in Macedonia. And I always used to put a little bit of butter in my coffee, and people were laughing. Any of those people who came to the retreat, like in Spain, I used to do it all the time, and people were like, what are you doing? Why do you put coffee, you know, butter in your coffee? But then all this Bulletproof came out and said, you see, they knew, so it was right. But because you mix these good fats into, and then it neutralizes everything else. Like if you make vegetable juice, it's always put a little bit of coconut oil, because that will neutralize it, and it makes it much more accessible for the body to digest. So that's what it is. Seeds, flax, poppy, sesame, hemp, pumpkin, sunflower seeds. Actually, sometimes I make out of hemp seeds. I make the milk. It's very delicious. Coconut, full of good fats and supports high energetic vibration. So more coconut you drink, your vibration is changing, and it's larger, and you radiate. Orange foods, of course, corresponding to the orange color of the second chakra. So it's oranges, carrots, sweet potatoes, peaches, apricots, mangoes, papayas, pumpkin and mandarins are all great. Eaten with fats to absorb better, as they are excellent at restoring your system. So as I said, when you do any of these, you can just put a little bit of coconut oil. And then you can make pumpkin and sweet potato soup. I love making that, and that's another thing how you can learn to flow. So there are little things that you can do and apply to your life to get that flow going, which is like making a soup, making this cauliflower, pumpkin and sweet potato soup. So I put everything, I boil everything, and I put it in a blender, and then I start experimenting with seeds, with salt. Like I love, lately I've discovered this Himalayan black salt, which is full of sulfur, and it stinks like rotten eggs. I know I'm weird, but my kids always tell me, oh my God, no, that stinky salt again. But it's kind of, sulfur is so good for you, and I love, it's so great, it helps the digestive system, but I love the taste. It's kind of like eggs, and I don't know, I put it in many of the, so I will experiment with that, and I put some taste, and then I become like a composer, because like you're composing a music, I'm composing this soup. And that's when the creative juices flow, and then you become flowing with it, and not following recipes, everything exact, then you kind of lose the flow. So that's following rules and following other people's, but this is just follow yourself, follow what kind of spice and herbs you want to put, and how do you want to arrange your soup, and you know, just play with it. And the mantra we did. Okay, so we've done with this whole session. Oh my God, we don't have that much time. Time flies. So I did have some questions, but I also wanted to, okay, maybe we have some time just for some questions to finish from last time also. And also I have, maybe you're not going to see all the questions on the group, because some people want to be private, and I'm not mentioning names, so don't worry, we'll just answer the questions. I believe Har is part of the Har Hari mantra. Can you explain a bit about its meaning and when you would use it? So Har is the one that we did first week. Remember, Har, releasing, letting go. Har is connecting to the creative aspect of infinity. Yes, it's part of Har Hari, because we will have that in another week, in week 3, I think. Har Hari, really working on cutting obstacles. So Har has to do, as you can say, Har, Har. When you say that sound, it's really cutting. It's masculine, it's yang. It's not yin, it's really masculine. So that we use anytime that we need to get rid of things, thoughts, habits, negative feelings, any of that. So that's when we use this mantra. So there is a lot of different uses, and we will see a few of them over the weeks. But yes, Har is very much the cutting off. getting rid of obstacles, getting rid of negative thoughts, and as I mentioned, everything else. So that's what we did the first week, because we were getting rid of fear, all the memory cells in the body. Hot, real release. So the second question, in the moving meditation on day 6, we hold the breath for a long time, which I found difficult. It definitely made me lightheaded. Can you explain a bit more about the health benefits of doing this? Yes. So that is the meditation where, which I learned with Dr. Chu in London, and that's the medicinal Qigong. So I was questioning that as well, and he said actually, let's do it together, because then if you're watching now or later, doesn't matter. So maybe I have to go a little bit further. So when you hold the breath, let's see what happens. Maybe you can't see me, but you know the exercise is going to be, we do more exercises later on Thursday. So inhale, hold, you're holding, you're scooping the energy from the, going all around, bringing it in front of your second chakra and pushing it down. So let's do it again together. So I want you to hold the breath. Okay, this was much shorter than it's on the video, I know, but I'm going to do it now a little bit longer. And then I want you to experience, we'll do it twice, so then you will know a little bit more what's happening. And I want you to also find that for yourself. And I will tell you what I experience, but all these questions when we have, it's very good to find your own answers. So. So you see, it makes you, it's like a workout. What happens? I'm sweating. You can see here, that sweat, when you do it more times, it's a complete workout. So it stimulates all the cells in your body. That sweat is a release. The breathing, when you stop the breathing, you hold the breath, the cells are starved of oxygen, and that's what you want. And then they start scooping everything around it, trying to get oxygen. That way, they're clearing all the areas and all the cells around each other. So they're clearing all the areas, and then when you give them the breath, the oxygen, they receive so much more, because they cleared the rest of it, which was not wanted, that needed to be clear, and then they received so quickly the oxygen, and so much more, so 3 times more they receive the oxygen like that than when you breathe normally. That's why we do a lot of exercises like that, where you can really hold the breath, that's all holding the breath, that's what it means. You're really starving the cells of oxygen, and then when you give the oxygen, they receive so much more. And that's a quick way. It's like a quick, like when we do breath of fire, that's also, it's very masculine. It's like you're grabbing, you're taking, so it's very masculine way of speeding up your oxygen level in the body. So when you need oxygen sometimes, you either do breath of fire or you do this. Hold the breath, hold the breath, hold it, and then shoo, shoo. When you do that, shoo, it feels so good. So I like you to really question yourself and do this exercise yourself and see how you're going with that. There is another one also. I use it for many different things, but I start, Yogi Bhajan always talks about having cold showers, and the benefits of cold showers, it's enormous. I could have never done that before because I'm such a chicken. I really love warm. But it's so great for inflammation in the body, any aches and pains in the body if you have. Just put cold water, go under a cold shower, have a bath with ice in it. Okay, it's easier to do it in the summer. So I did it a few times and my record is 8 minutes. So I can actually sit in 8 minutes in a cold bath with ice that I add. It's a whole bucket of ice I add. It's amazing what happens because you do this breathing, and which I'm going to show you now, and that breath really creates like a layer of warmth and heat all around you. It's crazy because now I've been doing it. Everything I learn, I experience it myself, and then I know what I'm talking about because I know it's the experience that I'm after. So you can try it. But so this is the breathing. Inhale, exhale, really powerfully through the mouth, like 30 times, 40 times, depending. Everybody is different. Some people need 10 times and they're already like, ooh, lightheaded. Some people need 30, 40 times if you've been doing it for longer. And then you feel that lightheadedness, and that's when you can stop and hold the breath on an exhale, then for as long as you can, and then you inhale and you hold just for 30 seconds and you release. And after, also for sleeping, I realize it's such a help. Sometimes if I can't sleep, I do this 2-3 times, immediately puts me to sleep. So let's do it together, and I think that will be our last thing, and then we'll carry on with all the questions and everything you guys had. Prepare it and give it to me on Thursday, and I will also prepare your video for Monday. So inhale, exhale through the mouth. Last time, inhale. Exhale fully. And hold. Inhale, hold. Only for 20-30 seconds. And exhale. Oh, wow. Again, that whole idea of holding the breath just calms you down immediately. Let's do it again, now that you know what we're doing. All right? We're going to go 30-40 times. There we go. Inhale. Last time. Long inhale. Hold. Hold. And exhale. Great. So this is the kind of breath you do in the cold shower and the cold bath. All right, well, happy week of relationship, noticing, flowing, and I will see you on Thursday. And all the best. Good luck with everything. Thank you.